The research ship, New Horizon, hung in space like a metal giant. Its silver hull reflected the light from 3 different suns in the Kepler 442 system. Inside the ship, Dr. Kethvar Molthen studied his data screens with 6 purple eyes. His long fingers tapped against the metal table as he looked at pictures of human children. "These creatures are so weak," he said to Admiral Jorik Vess, who stood beside him. The Admiral's blue skin had dark stripes that showed his anger. Both aliens belonged to the Zephyrian Empire, the most powerful group of species in the galaxy. "Humans think they are special," Admiral Vess replied. His voice was deep and cold. "They survived on their home planet by pure luck. No claws, no thick skin, no poison. They should have died long ago." Dr. Molthen nodded. "That is why this experiment will prove our point. We will show the galaxy that humans are nothing special, just weak animals who got lucky." The door to the room opened with a soft hiss. Captain Lisa Morgan walked in, followed by Commander Jake Sullivan. Both humans wore blue uniforms with Earth's symbol on their chests. Captain Morgan had short brown hair and calm green eyes. Commander Sullivan was tall with gray hair and a serious face. "The children are ready for transport," Captain Morgan said. Her voice was steady, but Dr. Molthen could smell her fear. Humans always smelled like fear to him. "Good," Dr. Molthen said. 12 young humans, ages 8 to 14. They think they are going to a special school program. How simple these creatures are." Commander Sullivan's hands made fists, but he said nothing. Captain Morgan put a hand on his arm to calm him. "You promised they would be safe," Captain Morgan said. "These are children from our colony worlds. Their parents trust us," Admiral Vess laughed. It sounded like metal scraping metal. "They will be as safe as any prey animal can be. If they are strong, they will live. If not—" He did not finish the sentence. Dr. Molthen turned back to his screens. "Each child will go to a different world. Each world has one type of apex predator. We have chosen the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy." The first screen showed a pack of creatures that looked like giant wolves. They had black fur and red eyes. Their teeth were as long as knives. "The Ravenclaw pack on Zirian Prime," Dr. Molthen explained. "They hunt in groups and can track prey across entire continents. The human female Amy Fletcher will go there." The next screen showed cat-like beasts with dark fur that seemed to eat light. They moved like shadows and had claws that could cut through metal. "The Shadowmaw Pride on Umbral 7. They are perfect killers who hunt alone. The human male Ben Carter will face them." More screens lit up. Each one showed different monsters. There were charging beasts with thick armor like skin, flying hunters with wings like knives, creatures that lived in caves and could see in total darkness. 12 worlds, 12 predator species, 12 human cubs, Dr. Molthen said with satisfaction. "In 6 months we will see what happens to weak prey when they face real hunters." Captain Morgan stepped forward. "These children have families. They have dreams and hopes. You are treating them like test animals." "Because that is what they are," Admiral Vess said. "Your species has been claiming to be special for too long. You say humans can adapt to anything. You say you can survive anywhere. This experiment will show the truth." Dr. Molthen pulled up more data. "We have studied human history. You only survived because other animals on your world were not smart enough to work together. Here, these predators are intelligent. They know how to hunt. They know how to kill." The door opened again. This time, a group of young humans walked in. They wore simple clothes and carried small bags. Their eyes were wide as they looked around the alien ship. Amy Fletcher was a girl with red hair and freckles. She looked brave, but Dr. Molthen could see her hands shaking a little. Ben Carter was a boy with dark skin and bright eyes. He smiled at the aliens, not knowing what was planned for him. There was Chloe Davis, a blonde girl who kept looking at everything with curiosity. Danny Wright stood tall for his age, trying to protect the younger children. 8 others stood with them, all between 8 and 14 years old. "Welcome, young humans," Dr. Molthen said in a voice he thought sounded kind. "You are about to begin a great adventure. Each of you will live on a different world and learn about alien life." Amy raised her hand. "Will we be together? Can we visit each other?" "Each world is special," Dr. Molthen lied. "You must focus on learning about your own world first." Ben stepped forward. "How long will we be gone? When can we see our families?" Admiral Vess moved closer to the children. His large size made them step back. "Time moves differently on each world. You will return when your education is complete." Dr. Molthen watched the children with interest. They were so small and soft. No weapons, no armor, no natural defenses. How could creatures like this have built spaceships? How had they spread to so many worlds? The transport ships are ready, a voice said from the wall speakers. Beginning transfer of subjects to designated worlds. Captain Morgan grabbed Dr. Malthan's arm. Please don't do this. They are just children. They are test subjects, Dr. Malthan replied, pulling his arm away. And this test will finally prove that humans are not special. You are just another prey species that got lucky. One by one, the children were led to small transport ships. Amy Fletcher waved goodbye to her friends as she was taken to the ship that would carry her to Zerion Prime. Ben Carter tried to look brave as he walked to his transport as the last child disappeared into their ship. Dr. Malthan turned to his monitoring equipment. Cameras and sensors on each world would record everything that happened. In 6 months, we will have our proof, he told Admiral Vess. The galaxy will see that humans are nothing special, just weak prey animals who should never have left their homeworld. The transport ships launched from the new horizon like seeds being scattered in space. Each one carried a human child toward a world full of deadly predators. Dr. Malthan smiled as he watched them go. He had no idea that he had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. The human children were not going to become prey. They were going to become something much more dangerous, something the galaxy had never seen before. 6 months had passed since the children were dropped on the predator worlds. Dr. Malthan sat in his lab, staring at the monitoring screens with confusion. The data made no sense. This cannot be right, he muttered, adjusting the sensors for the 10th time that day. The readings must be wrong. Admiral Vess entered the lab with heavy footsteps. His blue face showed concern. What is the status of the experiment, Doctor? Dr. Malthan turned several screens toward the Admiral. I do not understand what I am seeing. The human cubs should be dead by now, or at least hiding in caves, eating scraps like the prey animals they are. But they are not dead, Admiral Vess asked. No, they are very much alive, but the way they are living? Dr. Malthan paused, searching for words. It makes no sense according to everything we know about prey and predator relationships. The first screen showed Amy Fletcher on Zerion Prime. The red-haired girl sat in the middle of a Ravenclaw pack. The giant wolf-like creatures surrounded her, but they were not attacking. Instead, they seemed to be teaching her. Watch this, Dr. Malthan said, playing a recorded video. The pack leader brought her a killed animal 3 days ago, but instead of eating it alone, she shared it with the entire pack. Then she started making sounds. On the screen. Amy was howling with the Ravenclaws, but her howls were different. They had patterns like she was trying to talk to them. She is learning their language, Admiral Vess said slowly. More than that, Dr. Malthan replied. She is teaching them new hunting patterns. Look at yesterday's hunt. The video showed the Ravenclaw pack moving in ways they had never moved before. Instead of just charging at their prey, they were working together in complex formations. Amy ran with them, pointing and making gestures that directed their movements. The prey animal is commanding the predators, Admiral Vess said. His voice was barely a whisper. Dr. Malthan switched to another screen. This one showed Ben Carter on Umbral 7. The boy was surrounded by 3 shadow maws, the deadly cat-like hunters that usually worked alone. Shadow maws never hunt together, Dr. Malthan explained. They are solitary creatures. But watch this. The video showed Ben and the 3 shadow maws moving through a dark forest. They were working as a team, something that should have been impossible. Ben had somehow convinced individual hunters to become a group. How is he communicating with them? Admiral Vess asked. Body language mostly, but also tools. Dr. Malthan zoomed in on Ben's hands. The boy had created simple signals using rocks and sticks. He is teaching them to plan hunts together. Yesterday, they took down a creature that would have been impossible for one shadow maw to kill. More screens lit up around the lab. Each one showed a different human child, and each one showed impossible things happening. Chloe Davis was riding on the back of an ironback, the massive rhino-like creatures on Tectron 4. But she was not just riding. She was directing the entire herd, teaching them to charge in formations that made their attacks much more effective. The ironbacks never charged in patterns before, Dr. Malthan said. They just ran straight at things and hoped their armor would protect them. Now they move like a military unit. Danny Wright was even more shocking. The tall boy was living with the Voidwing flock on Ethros 9. The bird-like predators had always hunted by diving from great heights. Now they were using tools, Tools, Admiral, Dr. Moulton said, pointing at the screen. The boy taught flying predators to use tools. They drop rocks with perfect accuracy. They use branches to knock prey out of hiding places. Admiral Vess walked closer to the screens. What about the other 8 children? Dr. Moulton brought up more displays. Each child was alive and healthy. More than that, each one had changed their predator species in ways that should have been impossible. One girl had taught underground hunters to farm mushrooms for food. A boy had shown pack hunters how to preserve meat for lean times. Another child had convinced water predators to build dams. They are not being hunted, Admiral Vess said. They are leading. Yes, but how? Dr. Moulton asked. These are prey animals. Weak creatures with no natural weapons. How are they commanding apex predators? Captain Morgan and Commander Sullivan entered the lab at that moment. Both humans looked worried. We have been monitoring your experiment from Earth, Captain Morgan said. We know what you are seeing. Then explain it, Admiral Vess demanded. How are your cubs doing this? Commander Sullivan stepped forward. You made a mistake in your basic understanding of humans. You think we survived on Earth because we were lucky. But that is not true. Then how did you survive? Dr. Moulton asked. We made everything around us better, Captain Morgan said. Humans do not just adapt to their environment. We improve it. We make other species smarter, stronger, more cooperative. That is impossible, Admiral Vess said, is it? Commander Sullivan asked. Look at your own data. Each child is not just surviving. They are teaching. They are leading. They are making their predator species evolve. Dr. Moulton looked back at his screens with new understanding. The human children were not becoming prey. They were not even becoming predators. They were becoming something else entirely. They are becoming alphas, he said slowly. Pack leaders, pride commanders, flock generals. And the predator species are following them willingly, Captain Morgan added, because humans have something most predators do not have. What? Admiral Vess asked. Vision, Commander Sullivan said. The ability to see not just what is, but what could be. We show other species how to be better than they are. On the screens, Amy Fletcher was teaching her Ravenclaw pack to use simple tools. Ben Carter was showing his Shadow Maws how to communicate over long distances. Chloe Davis had her Ironback herd building shelters. This changes everything, Admiral Vess said. If humans can do this to apex predators, what could they do to other species? Dr. Moulton felt a chill run through his body. The experiment was supposed to prove that humans were weak prey animals. Instead, it was proving something much more frightening. We have created 12 new civilizations, he said quietly, and they are all loyal to humans. On Zerion Prime, Amy Fletcher sat with her Ravenclaw pack around a fire she had taught them to make. The giant wolf-like creatures looked at her with respect and trust. She was no longer a lost human child. She was their leader, their teacher, their guide to a better way of living, and she was only 11 years old. Dr. Moulton realized that the Zephyrian Empire had greatly underestimated humanity. The question now was, what were they going to do about it? 1 year had passed since the experiment began. Dr. Moulton no longer slept well. Every day brought new data that challenged everything the Zephyrian Empire believed about the galaxy. Admiral, you need to see this immediately, Dr. Moulton called as Admiral Vess entered the monitoring room. The screens around them showed scenes that defied all logic. Amy Fletcher, now 12 years old, stood on a hill overlooking a valley on Zerion Prime. Below her, 3 different predator species worked together. Her Ravenclaw pack was coordinating with spike bears and crystal wasps, creating hunting strategies that used all 3 species. Multiple predator species working together, Dr. Moulton said, his voice shaking. This has never happened in the recorded history of any world. Admiral Vess stared at the screen. How many species are under her command? 7 different predator types on Zerion Prime alone. They all follow the human child's leadership. Dr. Moulton switched to another screen. But that is not the worst part. The new screen showed Ben Carter on Umbral 7. The boy had grown taller and stronger during his year with the Shadow Maws. But the Shadow Maws themselves had changed even more. They were building structures. Predators do not build homes, Admiral Vess said. They use caves and natural shelters. These Shadow Maws are constructing complex hunting blinds, Dr. Moulton explained. They plan their hunts weeks in advance. The human child taught them strategy and patience. They are no longer just instinct-driven killers. More screens activated around the room. Each one showed changes that should have been impossible. Chloe Davis had done something even more shocking with her ironback herd. The massive creatures were no longer just eating whatever they could find. They were farming. Farming, Admiral, Dr. Molthan repeated when he saw the look of disbelief. The ironbacks are protecting certain plant-eating animals instead of hunting them. They are breeding them for future food sources. Predators becoming farmers, Admiral Vess muttered. What about the flying predators? The screen showing Danny Wright made both aliens step backward. The boy was no longer just living with the Voidwing flock. He had created what could only be called a civilization. The Voidwings had built structures in the tops of giant trees. These were not simple nests, but complex buildings with different rooms for different purposes. Some buildings were for sleeping, others for storing food, and others for what appeared to be learning. They have schools, Dr. Molthan said weakly. Flying predators have created schools where they teach their young advanced hunting techniques. And writing, Admiral Vess added, pointing to symbols carved into the tree buildings. They have developed a written language. Dr. Molthan brought up data from all 12 worlds. Every human child has created similar changes. Cave predators are now mining metals. Water predators are building underwater cities. Desert hunters are creating trade routes between different territories. The door to the monitoring room burst open. Captain Morgan and Commander Sullivan entered, followed by 3 other humans that Dr. Molthan did not recognize. We need to talk, Captain Morgan said. Her voice was different now, stronger, more confident. Who are these humans? Admiral Vess demanded. Representatives from Earth's Expansion Council, Commander Sullivan replied. They came as soon as they learned what your experiment has accomplished. One of the new humans stepped forward. He was older, with white hair and calm eyes. I am Director Ryan Parker from Earth's Colonial Development Program. We have been monitoring the situation. This experiment ends now, Admiral Vess said. We will retrieve the human children and return them to Earth. Director Parker smiled. I am afraid that will not be possible. Why not? Dr. Molthan asked. Because the children do not want to leave, another human replied. She was a woman with dark skin and silver hair. I am Dr. Helen Brooks, xenobiologist. We have been in communication with all 12 children. Impossible, Admiral Vess said. We control all communications to those worlds. You control your communications, Dr. Brooks said. You did not account for the fact that the children would teach their predator species to build communication devices. New screens lit up around the room. These showed the human children, but they were not the same children who had been dropped on the predator worlds. They had grown and changed. Amy Fletcher now wore clothing made from Ravenclaw fur, but it was crafted with skill and artistry. She spoke to the camera with confidence and authority. Hello, Earth, Amy said from the screen. I know you are watching. I want you to know that I am safe and happy. The Ravenclaws are not my captors. They are my family. We have built something beautiful together. Ben Carter appeared on another screen. Behind him, Shadowmaws moved in perfect coordination, building something that looked like a spacecraft. The Shadowmaws are incredibly intelligent, Ben reported. We are working together to explore other worlds in this system. They want to learn about the galaxy, and I am helping them do it. Every child gave similar reports. They were not prisoners or victims. They were leaders, teachers, and partners with the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. They refused to return to Earth, Director Parker said, and honestly, we do not want them to. What do you mean? Dr. Molthan asked. Dr. Brooks stepped closer to the screens. For the first time in human history, we understand our true gift. We do not just survive in harsh environments. We improve them. We make other species better than they were. These 12 children have created 12 new civilizations in just 1 year. Director Parker added, civilizations that combine human intelligence with alien physical capabilities. Admiral Vess felt a cold fear growing in his chest. What are you saying? We are saying that your experiment has given us the greatest discovery in human history, Captain Morgan replied. You have shown us how to build a truly cooperative galaxy. On the screens, the human children continued their reports. But now Dr. Molthan noticed something new. In the background of each transmission, he could see other species, not just the primary predators, but other creatures that lived on each world. The changes are spreading, he said quietly. It is not just the apex predators anymore. That is correct, Dr. Brooks confirmed. Every species on each world is being affected. The children are teaching cooperation, technology, and planning to entire ecosystems. This must be stopped, Admiral Vess said. If humans can do this to 12 worlds in 1 year, they could change the entire galaxy in a decade. Director Parker looked at him with an expression that was both kind and terrifying. Admiral, you still do not understand. We are not going to change the galaxy. Then what are you going to do? Dr. Moulton asked. We are going to save it, Captain Morgan said. From species like yours who think that strength comes from domination and fear. The screens around them showed the truth of her words. On 12 different worlds, predators and prey were working together. Hunters were becoming builders. Killers were becoming teachers, and at the center of it all were human children who had turned an experiment in cruelty into a demonstration of hope. Dr. Moulton realized that the Zephyrian Empire had not proven human weakness. They had unleashed human potential, and there was no way to put it back in its cage. 18 months after the experiment began, Dr. Moulton made a discovery that changed everything he thought he knew about life in the galaxy. He sat alone in his laboratory, staring at biological scans that seemed impossible. This cannot be real, he whispered to himself for the 100th time. But the data was clear and confirmed by multiple instruments. The predator species on all 12 worlds were evolving. Not over millions of years as evolution normally worked, but in mere months. Their brains were growing larger. Their bodies were adapting to use tools. Most shocking of all, they were developing new abilities that had never existed in their species before. Admiral Vess entered the lab, looking tired and worried. The past few months had been difficult for the Zephyrian Empire. Other species in the galaxy were asking questions about the experiment. Some were demanding to see the results. What have you found, Doctor? Admiral Vess asked. Dr. Moulton turned his screens toward the Admiral. The first image showed a brain scan of a Ravenclaw from Amy Fletcher's pack. This is a Ravenclaw brain from 6 months ago, Dr. Moulton said, pointing to the first scan. And this is a brain scan from yesterday. The difference was dramatic. The second brain was nearly twice the size of the first. New neural pathways had formed. Areas that controlled problem-solving and communication had expanded enormously. The Ravenclaws are becoming more intelligent, Dr. Moulton explained. Not just learning new behaviors, but actually evolving new brain structures. How is that possible? Admiral Vess asked. I believe the humans are triggering accelerated evolution through some kind of biological mechanism we do not understand, Dr. Moulton replied. But that is not the most disturbing part. He switched to another screen showing Ben Carter's shadow maws. The cat-like predators were working with metal tools, shaping them with precision that should have been impossible for creatures without opposable thumbs. Their paws are changing, Dr. Moulton said, growing more flexible fingers. Their throat structures are adapting to produce more complex sounds. In 18 months, they have developed capabilities that should take millions of years to evolve. More screens showed similar changes on every world. Chloe Davis's ironbacks had developed better eyesight and improved memory. Danny Wright's voidwings had grown larger brains and more sophisticated vocal cords. All 12 species are becoming more intelligent, more adaptable, and more capable, Dr. Moulton said. And they are all completely loyal to their human partners. Partners, Admiral Vess repeated. You mean captors? No, Admiral. I mean partners. Dr. Moulton brought up a new set of data. The children are not controlling these creatures through fear or dominance. They are inspiring them through cooperation and shared goals. The screens showed the daily life on each world. The human children, now teenagers, worked alongside their alien companions as equals. They made decisions together, solved problems together, and built their civilizations together. Amy Fletcher does not command the Ravenclaws, Dr. Moulton explained. She leads them by example and suggestion. They follow her because they trust her judgment and because she has made their lives better. But they are still predators, Admiral Vess said. Dangerous killers. We're predators, Dr. Moulton corrected. Watch this. The screen showed Amy's pack encountering a group of smaller creatures that would normally be their prey. Instead of attacking, the Ravenclaws herded the creatures to safety and gave them food. They are no longer just hunters, Dr. Moulton said. They have become protectors of their entire ecosystem. The human child taught them that a healthy environment benefits everyone. Similar scenes played out on every world. Ben's shadow maws were helping other species instead of hunting them. Chloe's ironbacks were sharing their farmed food with smaller creatures. Danny's void wings were using their flying abilities to rescue animals in danger. The changes are spreading beyond the primary predator species. Dr. Moulton continued. Every life form on each world is being affected. Admiral Vess studied the data with growing alarm. How many species are we talking about? Hundreds per world, Dr. Moulton replied. Some are developing tool use. Others are learning agriculture. Many are beginning to communicate with species they never interacted with before. And they are all becoming more intelligent? Yes, but more than that, they are becoming more cooperative. The human children are not just making individual species smarter. They are teaching entire worlds how to work together. Dr. Moulton brought up his most shocking discovery. It was a video transmission from Xerion Prime, Amy Fletcher's world. The image showed a meeting between representatives from dozens of different species. They are forming governments, Dr. Moulton said quietly. Multi-species councils where predators and prey work together to solve problems. On the screen, Amy Fletcher sat at a large table made from woven branches. Around her sat creatures that should have been natural enemies. Ravenclaws next to their former prey species. Flying hunters beside ground dwellers, all of them communicating in a mixture of sounds, gestures, and symbols. Amy Fletcher is not just the leader of the Ravenclaws anymore, Dr. Moulton explained. She is the elected representative of an entire planetary government. Admiral Vess watched the video with horror. A human child is running a world government made up of dozens of alien species. And it gets worse, Dr. Moulton said. Show me the space program data. New screens appeared showing the most terrifying development yet. Several of the worlds were building spacecraft. Not primitive rockets, but advanced vessels that combined human design principles with alien capabilities. Ben Carter's Shadow Maws have developed stealth technology based on their natural camouflage abilities, Dr. Moulton explained. Danny Wright's Void Wings are building ships that can fly in ways that defy our understanding of physics. They are preparing to leave their worlds, Admiral Vess said. Some already have, Dr. Moulton replied grimly. 3 of the 12 worlds have successfully launched exploration missions to other planets in their systems. And they are finding more species to improve. The implications hit Admiral Vess like a physical blow. If these human-led civilizations begin spreading to other worlds, they could change the entire galaxy. That appears to be exactly what they intend to do, Dr. Moulton said. But Admiral, there is something else. Something that might be even more important. Dr. Moulton brought up his final piece of data. It was a message from Earth, directed specifically at the Zephyrian Empire. Director Ryan Parker appeared on the screen, looking calm and confident. Admiral Vess, Dr. Moulton. By now you understand what your experiment has accomplished. You have proven that humans can inspire rapid evolution and cooperation in any species we encounter. The message continued. We want you to know that Earth has voted to expand this program. We are sending human volunteers to worlds throughout the galaxy, not as conquerors or colonizers, but as teachers and partners. We call it the Cooperative Initiative, Director Parker said. Our goal is to help every species in the galaxy reach their full potential through cooperation rather than competition. The message ended with a simple statement that filled both aliens with dread. The age of predator and prey is ending. The age of cooperation has begun. Dr. Moulton and Admiral Vess sat in silence, understanding that they had accidentally triggered a transformation that would reshape the entire galaxy. The weak human children they had tried to destroy had become the leaders of a revolution, and there was nothing the Zephyrian Empire could do to stop it. 2 years after the experiment began, Admiral Vess led a massive Zephyrian fleet toward the 12 experiment worlds. His plan was simple. Destroy the human-led civilizations before they could spread further across the galaxy. 50 warships should be enough to cleanse these worlds. Admiral Vess told his fleet commanders through the communication system. We will eliminate the human contamination and return these worlds to their natural state. Dr. Moulton sat beside the Admiral on the bridge of the flagship. He no longer believed the mission would be easy, but he had not shared all his concerns with the Admiral. Sir, we are approaching the first target world, the navigation officer reported. Xerion Prime, where the human female Amy Fletcher is located. Prepare all weapons, Admiral Vess commanded. We will make this quick and clean. But as the fleet dropped out of hyperspace, they found something unexpected waiting for them. The space around Xerion Prime was not empty. Dozens of spacecraft filled the area, and they were unlike anything the Zephyrians had ever seen. "Admiral," the sensor officer called out, his voice shaking. "I am reading 47 vessels of unknown design. They are not attacking, but they are definitely military craft." On the main screen, the alien ships became visible. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Some were sleek and fast, clearly built by the flying void wings. Others were heavy and armored, obviously ironback construction. The ships moved with perfect coordination, like a pack of Ravenclaws hunting together. "This is Amy Fletcher of the Xerion Coalition," a voice said over the communication system. The voice belonged to a teenage girl, but it carried the authority of someone much older. "Welcome to our space, Admiral Vess." Amy's image appeared on the screen. She had grown into a strong young woman during her 2 years on Xerion Prime. She wore a mixture of human and Ravenclaw clothing, and her eyes held wisdom beyond her age. "You remember me, don't you?" Amy asked. "The weak human child you thought would become prey?" Admiral Vess found his voice. "You are trespassing in Zephyrian space. Surrender immediately and we will consider showing mercy." Amy laughed, and it was not the laugh of a frightened child. "Admiral, I think you misunderstand the situation. This is no longer Zephyrian space. This is cooperative space." Other screens around the bridge lit up. Ben Carter appeared from Umbral 7, standing beside a group of evolved shadow maws. Chloe Davis spoke from her ironback council chambers. Danny Wright transmitted from the bridge of a Voidwing aerial cruiser. "The 12 worlds have formed an alliance," Ben explained. His voice was calm and confident. "We call it the Cooperative. We represent over 300 intelligent species working together." "Impossible," Admiral Vess said. "No alliance could organize that quickly." "You still don't understand how cooperation works," Chloe replied. "When everyone benefits from working together, organization happens naturally." Dr. Moulton studied his sensors with growing alarm. "Admiral, I am reading massive energy signatures from all the alien vessels. Their technology appears to be far more advanced than ours." "How is that possible?" Admiral Vess demanded. "These were primitive predator species 2 years ago," Danny Wright answered from his ship. "When you combine human creativity with alien capabilities, amazing things happen. Voidwing engineering plus human design principles creates ships that can do things you never imagined. Ravenclaw pack tactics applied to space combat makes us unbeatable," Amy added. "Shadowmaw stealth technology makes us nearly invisible. Ironback defensive capabilities make our ships nearly indestructible." Admiral Vess realized he was facing something completely new in galactic history. This was not just an alliance of different species. This was a fusion of capabilities that created something greater than the sum of its parts. "You cannot defeat the entire Zephyrian Empire," Admiral Vess said, but his voice lacked conviction. "We don't want to defeat you," Amy replied. "We want to help you." "Help us?" Dr. Moulton asked. Ben Carter's image moved closer to the camera. "Doctor, your species has incredible scientific abilities, but you use them for dominance and control. We can teach you to use them for cooperation and growth." "The Zephyrian Empire could become so much more than it is," Chloe added. "Imagine what your people could accomplish if they worked with other species instead of trying to control them." "Join the cooperative," Danny said. "Let us show you what real strength looks like." Admiral Vess felt his anger rising. "You are children, weak humans who got lucky. I will not be lectured by prey animals. Then you will be defeated by them," a new voice said. The voice belonged to Captain Lisa Morgan, but she was no longer speaking from a Zephyrian ship. She appeared on screen from the bridge of a vessel that combined human, Ravenclaw, and Shadowmaw design elements. "Captain Morgan," Dr. Moulton said in shock. "You betrayed the Zephyrian Empire?" "I joined the future," Captain Morgan replied. "Earth has officially allied with the cooperative. Humans throughout the galaxy are working with local species to build better civilizations." "This is treason," Admiral Vess snarled. "This is evolution," Commander Sullivan said, appearing beside Captain Morgan. "The galaxy is changing, Admiral. You can change with it or you can be left behind." The space around the Zephyrian fleet began to fill with more ships, not just from the 12 original worlds, but from dozens of other systems. Each fleet represented multiple species working together. "How many worlds?" Dr. Moulton asked quietly. 47 systems have joined the cooperative in the past 6 months, Amy reported. "Every month, more species discover that cooperation brings better results than competition." Admiral Vess looked at his fleet of 50 warships and realized they were completely outnumbered. But more than that, they were outmatched by technology that combined the best abilities of dozens of different species. "What do you want from us?" he asked finally. "The same thing we offer everyone," Amy replied. "The chance to become better than you are." "Your species has great potential," Ben added. "Your scientific minds, combined with the creativity of other species, could solve problems that have troubled the galaxy for millions of years. Imagine Zephyrian research abilities enhanced by Ravenclaw intuition," Chloe suggested, "or Zephyrian organization improved by Ironback determination." "We are not asking you to surrender your independence," Danny explained. "We are offering you the chance to keep your identity while gaining the benefits of true cooperation." Dr. Molthen looked at Admiral Vess and saw that the old ways of thinking were crumbling. The Admiral's face showed confusion, fear, and something else that might have been hope. "And if we refuse?" Admiral Vess asked. "Then you return to your empire and tell them what you have seen," Amy said. "But we will continue to grow. More species will join us every day. Eventually, the Zephyrian Empire will be the only group in the galaxy still trying to rule through fear and domination. And that will be a very lonely place to be," Captain Morgan added. Admiral Vess was quiet for a long time. Around him, his officers waited for orders. In space, the cooperative fleet waited patiently for his decision. Finally, the Admiral spoke. "Dr. Molthen, what do you recommend?" Dr. Molthen looked at the data one more time. The evidence was clear. The cooperative was stronger, more advanced, and growing faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. "I recommend we learn," Dr. Molthen said. "These humans have shown us something we never understood. Real strength comes from making others stronger, not from keeping them weak." Admiral Vess nodded slowly. "Amy Fletcher, on behalf of the Zephyrian Empire, I request permission to send observers to learn about your cooperative." Amy smiled. And for a moment she looked like the young girl who had been dropped on Zerion Prime 2 years earlier. Then the smile became something more mature, more wise. "Permission granted, Admiral. Welcome to the new galaxy." As the Zephyrian fleet stood down and began preparations to learn about cooperation, Dr. Molthen realized that the experiment had succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. The human children had not just survived being placed with predators, they had turned the predators into partners, the partners into friends, and the friends into the foundation of a new kind of civilization. The age of prey and predator was ending. The age of cooperation had begun, and it would change everything.